Thank you all, by the way, for letting me do this, because this brought up a lot of memories, really good things. um, so I want to focus on gratitude today. I think what everyone who didn't know me before this happened needs to know is that I was a high anxiety, attention seeking overachiever. I wanted career recognition. I wanted to be known in the commercial real estate industry of Nashville. And I wanted to be a developer. So I worked for over 20 years in commercial real estate. A career path that I actually fell into when I had to leave one temp job because I got a migraine headache and had to miss a day and started a new temp job in a CRE firm. And then now I've fallen out of commercial real estate because a headache took me out. I've spent my adult life chasing recognition, position, and opportunities. I spent the past decade doing so much. I went to networking events multiple times a week, took people to lunch, did a little writing, served on the boards of some industry groups, spoke at a national convention, and helped grow a commercial construction company in Nashville. Then I also started getting into a co-housing group that Keith and I wanted to live in, but that hasn't been built yet. So I tried to help market it and grow it, and soon I pushed my body too far. I tried working with a chiropractor and 2 nutritional counselors to try to recover my energy. And I was finally diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I was missing a ton of work and working from home a lot. And then we decided to have a house built. At the end of July 2024, I packed up our house with a friend and movers while Keith was out of town. He's in Chicago at the National Sports Collectors Convention. I moved us into a temporary apartment in Murfreesboro, which for those who don't know is about 30 minutes from Nashville. And then Keith came home from the National. But I don't remember coming home. I don't actually remember being in that apartment without him, but I found some photos in my phone that I had taken while he was still in Chicago and sent to him. He tells me that I came to him, he was already in bed with a tremendous headache and told him to call 911. I was on my knees. Because he knew of my experiences and he had been to the ER with me with migraines before, he called immediately. Then I passed out. That was August 4th. So yeah, I had aneurysm for we don't know how long, and it burst in my brain. A subarachnoid hemorrhage, which Keith had to tell me. It's been called a stroke, but it was not the kind of stroke that numbs half your body. This past week, it has hit my family again. My uncle experienced the same thing, but he passed away last week. So yes, surviving is the biggest thing I'm grateful for. However, I am a realist, and I know that simply being alive isn't always grateful for. I was in the ICU for 3 weeks. Apparently, things got dicey a couple of times, and we don't need to get into those specifics. I do have a little dent in my head now from where they drained the blood out. And I wanted to bring these photos because I think they're hopeful. So that is the dark spot. That yeah, so it got kind of bad. But the picture that I like is this one, because there's a heart in my hand. And I just love it. I love it, there's a heart in my brain. Um, anyway, after that, I moved into a different hospital, or a different floor in the hospital, and I woke up in some sense of the word woke, but I only have 3 memories, um, some of which I thought may have been dreams. And they are all shaded red because my eyes have been bled into. I've been told I spoke about a lot of things that didn't make sense at first. Well, I guess my brain readjusted to connectivity. Sorry. Anyway, so my memory and my consciousness didn't truly kick back in until a third hospital, a therapy hospital to help me walk and basically function again. I remember being wheeled into this weird place and being put in a room and having no idea why I was there. Keith was going back to the apartment in Murfreesboro every day to shower and feed our cats. And people would come and sit with me. Our boss, John, who is still a friend of mine, paid us both while we were in there, and he let the shop where Keith works in Shelbyville be closed during the week, while John only worked there on Saturdays. And then he was still working during the week in the construction company where I worked. He also sat with me often in the hospital. We've been friends far longer than the time I've worked with him, and he knows me as a stubborn cuss. And I think it really helps. I relearned to walk and had a few vivid hallucinations, much to Keith's delight. And then we were back at the apartment that I still could not see. I could get I could get some light and shapes at the top of my right eye. So I knew when people were in front of me, but I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't look at my phone. I couldn't read. I couldn't go anywhere by myself. And then riding in the car was like an adventure. I couldn't see where we were going. So at the beginning of November, we got to move into our brand new house in Shelbyville. And I was definitely not very helpful in that move. But later that month, I got to have my first surgery on fully blind eye. And the next day, sorry, they took off the bandage and I could see from that eye. And it really is one of the most incredible experiences of my life. And again, easy to be grateful for. Then in January, my boss slash bestie, John, came to visit me in the new house. And he suggested that it might be time for me to let go of my job. Now, had I already thought about this? Yes. Did I want to hear it at that moment in January? Absolutely not. I had defined myself by my career. I didn't meet my stepdaughter until she was 18. I left a drummer to stay at that job. And I had been really good at it once. Anyway, I'm so sorry. It took me 7 months, starting a whole other project and a request from the company for a letter of resignation so that they could keep their health care, for me to really wrap my head around this. And I realized like this is an opportunity for me, an opening. I now spend lots of time pointing out to myself and everyone around me these things that I'm grateful for. The new house, paying off my car, the books we're unpacking, having a home once again, visits from friends and family from everywhere to Nashville, and we're so far from Nashville. My handwriting getting better. finding a church that I love, getting meat and eggs in the mail, experiencing good customer service. I read slower now and I savor it. I'm calmer than ever, and my migraines and allergies went away. This list goes on and on and on. I'm listing them because I want all of you to get your head thinking about the everyday things that you can be grateful for. There's an Abraham Hicks quote for those of you who know, you know. When you look out into the environment that surrounds you and you feel appreciation for what you see, you tune yourself to the frequencies of the best of all that you are, and then the best of all that is. As someone who wanted to major in physics originally, and as someone who believes in the string theory and 10 dimensions, it's nice to think that our vibe does resonate with the things around us. And those resonations could result in seeing more things like what we like. I mean, a New York real estate guy who had a board game in 1989 that I really wanted and begged for became a man I watched in reality television after college, became president. I'm thinking what we vibe with and focus on somehow connects with us and connects us with more things. Maybe our biggest limit is our inner thoughts. The biggest lessons I gained from this experience and the year following it really all go back to vibration, patience, acceptance of what I'm not currently able to do, and acceptance in a broader sense. For example, I love driving, and now I am a very patient driver, a slightly critical passenger. Sorry. I'm also a better listener now, and I'm able to allow people to finish what they were saying and not interrupt as quickly, although I am still a work in progress. I went to an herbalist conference in May, my first time traveling without Keith since all this happened. The drive was off interstate, just state roads to a hidden place in Alabama. It was so satisfying to be doing something on my own, without help, at my own preferred pace. Then I got to meet some wonderful people and hear their stories. My desire to talk about myself and my work has gone down. And my desire to capture other people's stories has completely taken over me. I've also created a ritual for when I work or write, and that has given me great joy. What are the rituals in your lives? Is it getting ready in the morning? Is it closing out your office at the end of the day? Do you play games in your family where you have special family rules that you made up? Do you pray or give thanks before eating? Or maybe you meditate at a regular spot or a regular time? I made my meditation station into a thank you note writing station because I meditate in bed. And this gives me a way to look forward to this ritual of writing thank you notes that my mother ingrained in me and my sister at a very young age. I actually love sending out cinnamon and giving myself a ritual station for creating that means that I get to get into the mood as I sit down, maybe light a candle or light some incense. Sometimes how we do something affects how we feel about it. And I'm finding that rituals increase gratitude in things I'm doing, and I didn't understand that before. Acceptance of things I'm not good at has been much harder. In a way, I still don't accept anything as permanent and plan to spend all the days I have left learning and trying to be a better person. But in a self-loving way, not in a self-torture sort of way anymore. I so badly needed reassurance from the outside in the past. I sometimes wonder if my sister being the angel of the family, both in name and in her way of embracing family, made me feel like I had to take a different route to stand out, to prove that I also was good. Now, I am lucky enough to have so many milestones to look at from a recent perspective. From the first steps this past September to driving again to cooking a meal for us. And I've been given a fresh perspective on the ordinary life being wonderful. In my last job, I would often joke about being called a cat herder. I'm not sure who called me that first, but it's a pretty good description of someone who gathers around commercial property managers in their crazy schedules, and manages to get them all together for a relaxing good time. I loved it. I'm still doing it a little bit. I'm actually planning a little gathering this coming September. I'm accepting that I can't do things every week anymore. And accepting that I'm not needed anymore to win business for the wonderful construction company that I left. I do want very much to start doing some stuff with the groups here at church. The car readings especially. And to maybe meet some people at the local rec center when I can do more than just walk to get the mail. I love experiences. And I've always wanted to share them with people. Sometimes though it is like herding cats, but I still enjoy doing it. I'm accepting my limitations now. In a culture where we're told to never accept our limitations, this can be challenging. I have to be open to going to bed early if I need to. Open to turning down going out if I don't feel like I can handle it. I've definitely cut the number of shows that I plan to see. And for those of you who don't know Nashville, there's so many shows that come here. I have actually started a new website that requires a lot of computer time and will for the near future. And I have to honor my body when I work. I have to notice my posture, make sure I'm not sitting in a weird position in my kneeling chair or on my ball chair, both of which are to work my core, which also then limits how much I can do. And it's a good thing. I have very little restraint when I get on a roll on the computer. I also am somehow both taking more time on things and reading slower and being more attentive, yet also releasing my perfectionism in favor of getting things done. More attention, but less perfection. I'm thinking there are two camps of people, those always juggling things that need to be done, and people who can just roll with life. I'm simultaneously hoping to inspire Keith and y'all to look for the good in things and then resonate with more good, while also taking in all John taught me in the many years that I've known him about allowing some things to be done, allowing myself to rest when I need it, allowing fun to interject into work, and embracing opportunities to do different things. I know I have approval from many sources and within myself. I don't know how parents are supposed to teach their kids that self-approval. My parents gave my sister and I oodles of approval and encouragement, but both Angel and I became perfectionists, trying to win people over and be the best at everything that we do. If you can teach your kid to accept who they are and embrace it, they can turn their limitations into a different way of approaching things. My college poetry professor, Paul Allen, said, rules are a springboard only, and you're free. He was explaining to me how my free-form poetry was not my strongest way of writing, and that I did better with some rules, like syllable counts or line numbers. But it also applies to life. Rules are a springboard only, and we're free. My changes to my abilities created a new freedom, and they allow me to work in a way that maximizes my mental freedom and enjoyment within some boundaries. I can't work all day like I used to, but I'm getting to do things that I enjoy. And if I haven't asked you yet, I probably will one day. I want to write other people's biographies, even if it's just one that you share with your families. I think my joy in hearing people's stories and writing makes this a fun ultimate goal. After I safely scanned nearly 600 sports catalogs, but that's okay. I may not get to use another day. And I've accepted the inevitable end for all lives, which makes everything more precious. I have even read several books on attending death by death doulas and by hospice workers. But it was not until I woke up from nothingness that I really began to appreciate time. I have believed since adolescence that one of the extra dimensions in string theory is the afterlife. And that communication with the dead comes through people who are able to communicate with that dimension. Being unconscious for 3 weeks and then forgetting a whole month of being awake, maybe a little less inclined to be a death doula, but it's made me tremendously appreciative. Every day has something to be appreciated. I may not have the energy to go to work, or to the grocery store, or shower some days. My short-term memory is still spotty. And I'm pretty sure that black hole in my brain scan is where the names were stored, because that was something I used to take great pride in. I was so good at remembering names, and now that is not one of my strengths. But I've gained so many other things instead. Yesterday, I saw a bit of the first live college game that I have seen since I got my eyesight back. I missed August and September games last year, and then I had no vision to watch them with Keith. I love college football because of the heart in it. It's so different from pro ball. I've also been buying books, a few too many. It's 32 in the past month and a half. Mostly on sale or used, I swear. But Keith and I collect books. And then we focus around a few major topics, which we hope that one day, we can share our collection as a library. Right? I hope that all of you locals will come by and check them out once we get them organized. My day may not be filled with writing a book of my own that I'll be proud to leave behind, at least not yet. The proudest moments of my day may be fixing an embed on my website or cooking a great dinner. It does not make those things less valuable. And that is how I've become more grateful with every passing day while accepting my limitations, noticing things. So many ordinary but wonderful things that are all so good, and savoring all of it. Tomorrow may not happen for me, but damn it, I savor today. And that's what I hope for everyone who hears this, including my family who is grieving my lost uncle, that you take from this the lessons to savor every day. If you need help, I'm an unabashed optimist, And I can find good just about anything. Don't just listen now and nod. Go home and meditate or set up a prayer station and give thanks daily for things that you are grateful for. Give those things your attention. Resonate with them. And the physics will work itself out. The more you notice, well, the more you'll notice. Thanks.